In our previous lesson, we talked about how Liongard's system inspectors gather rich configuration data and allow you to automate your documentation for the customer environments that you're responsible for managing. Now, in this lesson, we're going to focus on Liongard's asset discovery and inventory, and how through our agents, whether they're installed on a local endpoint or one of our cloud agents, how they can help you discover different assets within your customer environments. And using some of our dashboards, you can maintain an up-to-date, clear, and automated inventory of those assets, allowing you to stay compliant and adhere to critical security standards. Now, here in Liongard, let's navigate to Admin Agents. And we're briefly going to talk about Liongard's agents because they can help us understand how Liongard automatically discovers some of your users, devices, or systems. So Liongard gathers information about your environments, customer networks, and cloud systems via agents. Agents run inspections, which are those individual queries that gather information about those various systems. So in other words, all of the system inspectors that we reviewed in the previous lesson, or really any system inspector that you see here in Liongard, that inspection is being run on an agent. And Liongard has two types of agents. One is used for inspecting devices within your local network. That is the Liongard self-managed agent. And you can install that agent on a Windows server, Windows workstation, Linux machine, or Mac OS machine. Essentially, agents that need to be installed inside of your firewall, so to speak. Now, Liongard also has an on-demand Liongard managed agent. And as the name suggests, we completely manage its setup and maintenance. And this agent runs inspections that do not require privileged access to your customer networks. This is the inspector that you'll likely deploy for most of your cloud inspectors. So going back to the self-managed agents, we can click on one of these agents. Let's see this one, ADDC01CN for Contoso Nation. This agent details page gives us a little bit more description on this agent. And if we scroll down, you can see the inspectors that are being run on this agent, specifically Active Directory and Windows Server in this case. Now, traditionally, this inspector would discover different systems. It seems that all of the systems that were going to be discovered for this agent have already been discovered. But if we go back to our Liongard managed agent, that is our on-demand agent, you're going to see a couple of things. One, the different inspectors that are being run on this agent. Again, most of these are cloud system inspectors. And you're also going to get a view into the discovered systems. And that brings us to the concept of auto discovery. Essentially, anytime that you run an inspector, that inspector has the potential to identify other potential launch points or other inspectors, so to speak, that have been discovered by that inspector. We're never going to automatically configure that inspector for you. Instead, you're going to get a consolidated list of that inspector. So in this example, my on-demand agent discovered several TLS and SSL inspectors for different environments. From here, I can easily activate that inspector. I can edit it to configure it further, or I can simply archive it. So not only does auto discovery allow you to deploy systems faster in Liongard, it's also just another tool to help you create and automate your inventory of assets, users, devices, software, so on and so forth. Now, that is our Liongard agent setup, and we've seen how whether a self-managed or on-demand agent, they can discover different systems. If we go back to our home dashboard, you also have an option to look at the total discovered systems across all of your environments. So if I click here, I will see all of the discoveries for both my self-managed and on-demand agents. So now that we have an understanding of Liongard auto discovery, let's talk about some of the dashboards at the customer environment level that can help you create an inventory of those discovered systems or users. Going back to our home dashboard, clicking on environments, I'm going to select Contoso Nation. And from here, we're going to hover over to the left into the Asset Inventory tab, and we're going to click on Identities and Accounts. Here we are in Liongard Cyber Asset Inventory dashboard. This one is specific to identities and accounts. And if I click on Discovery, I can immediately identify the different identity or account that has been discovered across this specific customer environment. Over in the source column, I can see which inspectors discovered this identity. And we see that in Microsoft 365 and in our dark web monitoring system inspector, this user and this account identity has been discovered. We can click here just to view more of those details within that specific system inspector, just in case that we want to surface even more data on this specific user. But back to our Discovery tab, we can surface information on their activity, the status of the activity, whether they're an enabled user or not, when they were last logged in, username, privilege status, so on and so forth. There are actually a couple more metrics that you can include into this discovery report. Now, once I'm here, I can also click on the email account identity, and I have a more detailed summary of this account. From here, I can edit and customize these fields. Perhaps you want to change the status from the one that it was imported as. Let's just keep it at active here. Perhaps you want to identify a location for this specific account. And once you have customized those details, you can either archive it or set it to your inventory. Let's go ahead and save it to our inventory. That'll immediately update my identities in inventory by type tile. And clicking back into inventory, I see the same table that was given to me in the Discovery tab. And what this results in is a compliance-ready inventory report of the accounts and identities that I manage. And part of the beauty of this dashboard is that it allows you to have a unified view not only of your customer accounts for this specific customer environment, but also a consolidated list of accounts under one identity. So from here, I encourage you to pause this video briefly. Find a customer environment whose asset inventory of identities and accounts you haven't reviewed yet, and review the discovered accounts and identities. Make sure that they're aligning to the specific standards and criteria that you're looking for, and see what you find. Now, additionally, if we go over to the Devices tab, we have a similar dashboard, this time for your devices. This dashboard allows you to have a consolidated inventory of those devices, and similar to the accounts and identities, clicking on each device can give you more information on the device details and allows you to customize those fields as well. We'll keep this one in inventory, press save. So our best practice here is to continuously check your asset inventory dashboards to make sure that you have no blind spots or are able to have full visibility of your entire attack surface. Now, in this lesson, we're not going to focus a lot on reports, which is another way of visualizing some of the asset inventory data that Liongard brings. But I do want to show you some inventory report templates that can be useful for you in this regard. So on the upper right corner, navigate with me to Reports. I'm going to click on the Templates tab. And under Created By, I'm going to type in Liongard. And under Search, I'm going to type CIS. And immediately I see a couple of inventory report templates aligned to specific CIS controls. Let's take a look at this software inventory report template. I'm going to click on it, and I can automatically see a list of all of the software that is installed on my specific Windows servers. And notice that this is previewing data for all of my environments, but I can also just select a couple of environments that I'd like to surface this data for. Let's keep it on all environments for now. I can collapse this one. And I can also have a view of my Windows Workstation software lists. And you can further customize this template by clicking on Create Report. Let's call this one February Inventory Report for all of my environments. I'm going to click Generate. And here I can further customize these reports. Again, we'll get into a lot more detail on reports, but for now, just know that you have the capability to leverage Liongard created report templates to report on the inventory of your assets.